Hi, I'm Eileen Wyatt, and I'm here sitting on the stage with the cast of the new show, Mama and Her Boys, a musical that's going to be opening this coming Friday, and I'm very excited to be able to talk to all of the cast members, as well as the pianist, who is the accompanist, for the singers. So take it away and tell me a little bit about it, Chris Sidoli.
Hi, Eileen. Thanks for
Hi,
coming.
Chris.
Welcome to the Harwich Junior Theater. Ethan, Wendy, and I, and Joan, all of us have been long-term friends for many, many years, and also have performed with each other for many, many years as well. And we've been looking for an opportunity to come together and do a show for a couple of years now. And the genesis of this show basically started right here on Cape Cod at the fabulous Red Cottage. We spent a lot of wonderful breakfasts.
One of my favorite breakfast places,
It's so
too.
good, isn't it? We spent a lot of wonderful breakfasts just kind of brainstorming ideas, and songs started coming out of that.
Where you're all singers, you decided that you would get some songs together to perhaps make a show loosely based on
like
the
a
songs.
song cycle, basically. And we started pouring out songs, and then we started exploring other genres of music because we love so many different types and styles of music. So then we started bringing in folk music and jazz and old Broadway as well as new Broadway and early rock, pop. I mean, it's became a very eclectic mix of wonderful music, and it just kind of progressed from there.
All right, and Wendy, I'd like to introduce Wendy
Watson.
Sorry. Oh, thank you, Wendy Watson.
That's okay, I knew.
Yes, I've known Ethan and Chris since they
And you're
were
Nancy,
little
right?
guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Sometimes I'm not sure myself. So, Wendy, tell me a little bit about how you met the boys and Joan, and how this all came together for you.
Well, I'm a more recent transplant to Cape Cod. I've lived here full-time for about 12 years. And at the time that I met Ethan and Chris, we were performing in a show called Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, and it was
wonderful.
such a moving experience, and it was such powerful theater and such talented
Powerful
cast
play.
that I was really moved and got more and more involved with these guys as a result. The three of us love to sing together, and that's really what this whole process grew out of, was just loving the sound that our voices make together. We communicate readily. We're very connected as a threesome, both when we're singing individually, but also when we're singing as a group. And that the process of developing this show and sort of finding our own voice as a trio has been extraordinary. And then the fact that a story actually evolved out of the process of choosing the music, that was really extraordinary as well.
That's wonderful. Now, Ethan Paulini, if you would tell us a little bit about how the songs became the book that you wrote with a friend of yours.
Sure. Like Chris said, we had such an eclectic mix of music, and all of the songs had a really strong point of view, and we suddenly started to see connections. Oh, this song is about a mother who's this certain way, and a relationship with a father and a relationship with the sons, and we started to put together this story in our head to justify how the songs were following each other within the course of the show. And eventually a really strong story kind of emerged, something that isn't really our true story, but is very that has elements of all of our stories in it. And
Sort of a compilation?
yeah, we sort of, and so we're now, this time around, we've done the show about 5 or 6 different incarnations, and this time around we thought, well, we're doing it at a theater that we've all worked at and that Chris and I met at when we were little kids, and was kind of a home to us. So let's do this really personal show, and let's go all the way with that story. Let's tell this story of these people that we're kind of creating. So I reached out. I had never written a musical before, so I reached out to a contact I had in New York. Her name is Linda Klein, and she wrote the Broadway musical A Class Act, and she was nominated for a Tony for that. And I said, I'm writing this show, and I don't really know where to start. And she said, I've got just the thing. I wrote a show about mothers and daughters. So here is this material that I've written. And it was just a few pages of some lines and some sketches. And she said, feel free to adapt it and make it about mothers and sons. And that kind of became like a map. And then from there, I was able to really create our story. And I would see a line and say, okay, this is between a mother and a daughter. And Chris would say it, his character would say it in the show, but Chris wouldn't say it like this. So let me put it into Chris's voice. And knowing them so well, it was easy and fun. So, yeah.
And Joan, last but certainly not least, and very, very important to a musical, the pianist and accompanist. And can you tell us a little bit about how you were cajoled and begged and pleaded to become part of the show, and how the songs were chosen?
Well, when I first moved to the Cape, almost 20 years ago, I did a lot of community theater, and two of my favorite shows were at HJT, and that's where I met Chris and Ethan. But I'd kind of gotten away from doing that kind of thing, doing my own performing, and I came to see Chris in a show, and he said, Ethan wants to talk to you about this new project we've got, and I was thinking, do I really want to do that? And
Too late.
I know, but I thought I would for them.
Yes,
I did say yes.
You said yes.
But I had been thinking about it. So. But it's been a little different because you're working with people who are just so talented. So I don't really have to tell them anything. It's just they might ask me, take a breath there. You just have to deal with the normal things. The way that you get a song is never the way you end up performing it. So you end up cutting and pasting, and you should see the jigsaw puzzle that my score is. So I spent about 3 hours this afternoon doing a bunch of that.
Right, and it's opening on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Still
It's
revising
still
a bit.
evolving.
Yes,
yeah. That kind of thing.
That's wonderful. And I know you mentioned, Chris, that there's someone who is your choreographer and who has been a big part of the show as well.
Yes, Sean Maddox, who is here right now. He is our choreographer, but he also is a fabulous graphic designer in his own right, and he designed our fabulous poster and took the
I
pictures.
love this, by the way.
And he's also the swing. He's understudying both Ethan and myself, and has gone on for some of us because the wonderful thing about this, not Mama. He'd be very versatile if he could go on for Mama.
Hang on it, Wendy, right?
we've been working on the show for, I guess, two years now.
Is that right?
2 years.
2 years?
2 years. A little bit, maybe a little bit more than that, I guess. But Ethan and I have come and gone from the Cape. We both live in New York City, and we
Yes,
both
I
have
know.
had regional gigs, or I've been on tour, and so we've always kind of kept in contact via phone and email and Facebook about changes and what's going to happen next and where what's going to. And so Sean has been with us throughout all of that in case Ethan or I have had to miss a performance or two. He's filled in, and he's been a very huge, you don't see him here right now, but he's been a huge part of what you see on that poster, literally and figuratively. So we couldn't do it without him, so thank you, Sean. But yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, it's great to talk to all of you and to find out how all this came together.
And this is a homecoming for us too.
I
I mean,
know.
this is in the show. It's Ethan's emphasized that it's kind of a reunion in the show, but it's also very much a reunion for us here too, because this stage holds a lot of significance for both Ethan, Wendy, and Joan and I, because we have been here for so many years. And I think growing up, I certainly took it for granted. I thought there were many places like the HJT all across the country, and so many other kids got the same opportunities that we did growing up, and it's so not the case. And so it's so wonderful to be able to come back, and Nina has been so gracious to and receptive to us to come back here. So it's a wonderful thing that we can do this together on this specific stage.
Well, as you know, Nina is just so proud of all of her
Oh.
boys and girls
Yes.
that have grown up here.
We know, we hear about it a lot.
Yes, I'm sure you do. And she keeps in touch with everyone, and you all keep in touch with
Yeah.
each other. And as you and Chris know, my children grew up in this theater
course,
as well
of
in the
course.
summers, and they still have so many wonderful contacts and friends that they met here on the stage when they were youngsters.
Ethan and I have known each other for 17 years. Oh my
Is
God.
that right?
18? Maybe 18?
Wow.
Yeah. And we met here
Yeah.
18 or years
Well,
about
I remember
17,
seeing
18
you in
years ago.
plays here.
Yes, how long I've known your kids too.
Yes, yeah. I remember when you were one of the workshops that Kevin taught here.
Yeah, it was a JP when he was the assistant teacher.
Yeah.
And yeah, Katie and I have the same birthday, so we always shared that. We're
Oh,
always
that's
April
right. I had
13th, April
forgotten
15th.
about
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
we always had a good time with that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did a show with Kevin. Did I do a show with Kevin?
I think you might have.
Rex Riches? Was he in Rex?
Yes,
he was.
yes,
So we
yes,
always-
yes.
That was our
Oh my
Yes.
God, that was the
Yes.
first show I did. Wow, that was the first show I did here.
that
Rags to Riches
right?
was my first show at the HJT.
Wow, that was one of
Whatever
his
year
last
that
because he
was.
was still in college, but he
Yeah.
was toward the end of his college
Yep,
career
I do
at that
remember that
point.
now. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I know.
He was the hero. I was the villain. Some things haven't changed.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I
I
usually
think you're
want to play
quite
the
the
bad
hero
guy.
to have had such a part in this, Chris. I
Oh, well,
really
that's
do.
very sweet of you.
And everyone is very proud of your touring with Cats.
Thank you.
Yes, I think that needs to be mentioned.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
wonderful.
Thank you
You've
very
been
much.
across the country with it more than once,
Yeah,
right?
for 5 years, on and off.
Has it been 5 years?
Yeah, it
Wow.
just closed actually. So no more
wow,
cats.
yes.
30 years of
I
cats
saw
and
that in
no
the
more
paper,
cats. It
yeah.
closed. Yeah. So it was a chunk of my life for 5 years. So it's but you know, onward and upward and to the next thing. And I'm really proud to be here working on this show with these fabulous people again. We're very lucky.
It's
So.
wonderful to see everything come full circle.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. Well, please know that this is a wonderful show, and it's going to open on this coming Friday, the 14th of September, and it's going to play through the 30th on Friday and Saturday evenings at 7:30, Sunday at 2 p.m. So please either call 508-432-2002 and order your tickets there, or you can go online at www.hjtcapecod.org, and you can order them that way as well, or you can come to the box office. So please come and see the show. I can tell just from the enthusiasm and the exuberance of the cast and the accompanists that I know it's going to be a great show. So thank you all for your time. And now we're going to see a brief scene.
You sure are.
Oh, good. Can you tell us about the numbers?
Sure. We're going to do one number called When You're Good to Mama, which is from the musical Chicago that is more, it's like the fantasy show, kind of showman number. And then we're going to do a number called Who Will Love Me As I Am that Chris and I do from the musical Sideshow. So.
Oh, wonderful. All right.
Thank you, Eileen.
Take it away.
Thank you.
All right.
It is just like old times. I'm so happy to see you. Wait, I'll be right back.
Where did she go now?
Oh, I don't know, but it's good to see you.
Some things never change.
You can say that again.
Ask any of us chickies in her pen. We'll tell you she's the biggest mother hen.
I love them all, and all of them love me.
Because the system works, the system called reciprocity.
Got a little motto, always sees me through.
When you're good to mama,
Mama's good to you.
there's a lot of favors she's prepared to do.
You do one for Mama.
She'll do one for you.
They say that life is tit for tat, and that's the way I live.
So she deserves a lot of tat for what she's got to give.
Don't you know that this hand washes that one too?
When you're good to mama,
Mama's good to you.
like a fish plucked from the ocean, tossed into a foreign stream. Always knew that I was different, often fled into a dream. I ignored the raging currents, right against the tide I swam. But I floated with the question, who will love